Alright, we'll let Larry do this because I plugged the battery back in while he wasn't looking.
What?
So welcome back to another video. Today we're installing another mod on my friend's Mustang. Won't be this one here. There's stuff coming. I emailed the people today. Parts are coming in on Friday, so hopefully it's not too far away. But today we're installing a new wheel on my friend's 2019 Mustang. He's got the white one. There's been a few other mods we've done. You can go back and check out those videos if you want. Like always, if you're not already, hit that subscribe button, leave a thumbs up. You don't want to miss anything coming up. But without further ado, we'll flip you around, show you what he's ordered, and we'll get her on the car. Alright, so here it is, guys. He's ordered a new steering wheel for his S550. As you've seen at the beginning of the video, it comes really well packaged. You got all sorts of bubble wrap in there. It's not going to be bouncing around, wrecking anything. Also, you got your little liner around there, because what this is actually the GT350R Alcantara wheel. So you can see it's all Alcantara. You got your red stitching along with your red center stripe there. If you come down to the bottom, you can see it's flat. You got your leather wrap just on the bottom portion here. I won't take this off till we put it on. I don't want to make it dirty. Like I said, it's not mine. But the nice thing about this, and they don't all have this, is it comes with the buttons and everything already attached. So some of them, they don't have that. Just one more step you need to do while installing it, but I'll show you all that. I'll get it out of the box, show you a little bit of what goes on to get the wheel off and on. And then once he shows up, we'll move this one out of the way, we'll pull him in, and we'll get her all mounted on. Alright, so here it is. I took the little liner off just to give you a quick rundown of what's going on here. I'll leave it on while we actually do the work. You don't want to get any oil or stuff on your hands possibly, because Alcantara is a biatch to clean. Myself, I'm not a big fan, but my buddy loves the Alcantara stuff. That's why he spent the money on the wheel. Also, it's a lot better. Get the flat bottom and all that kind of stuff. Also, this is the Steeda. This comes from Steeda. It's the 350R wheel. They come with all the buttons already on there. I know you can get like carbon fiber ones and stuff. Some of the other companies, you actually have to take these off along with the little plate here and put it on the new wheel. To do that, it's super easy. You can see it's got the yellow paint on them. Just little torque bolts. You take them all out. You gotta do the top ones first if you're doing that. And then for the bottom ones, there's another bolt like under this piece here. Same on that side, there's one there. So once you pop the top off, you can get the last bolts out of there. That pops off. And basically on this side, it's just like little plastic clips like everything else. Clips on. Super easy to get off. It's just one more step you gotta do. And for wiring purposes, like clearly they only fit on one side. But if you take them off, it is color coded. I think one side is black and one side is like a blue or a green if I remember right. But it's all color coded, so take it off the old wheel, plug it into the new wheel. But one less step with the Steeda wheel. And the nice thing is, believe it or not, this thing is like half the price of those carbon fiber wheels. So it's a win-win. But basically, the first thing you want to look at is on the side here. Move the little thing. You can see tiny little hole here. Same if you flip it to the other side. You got that tiny little hole there. And basically that is what holds what people think is the horn. Obviously it is the horn, but your airbag as well. You can see these little clips here and here. So basically, I just use a little tiny flathead screwdriver. But if you put it in that hole on the side, if I can do this with one hand, I can feel it. But basically, you want to go to the side over here, put it in that hole, and there you go. And you can see it comes in the inside, right? So what you're doing when you're inside of the car, because you need to get that off, you want to just put a little pressure, and then that actually moves over. So if you see when I push here, if I can do it with one hand without everything slipping away, you see that's a little spring mechanism, right? Basically, on the back side of the front plate where your pony is, it'll slide in there, and it slides in there, and it kind of just clicks in. So when you push that over, this side will pop off, push that over, that side will pop off, and then you can get to all these wires and stuff to unplug it, and you're going to have one yellow cable as well. That's your airbag. So make sure before you start this, pop the hood, undo your battery, because you don't want that blowing up in your face. It's going to be a really crappy experience if that happens. So, but yeah, that's basically all it takes to get the front plate off. And then once it's off, you'll have two little tabs, or not tabs, just like little almost like the tip of my finger, just a little guide. They go in here and here. That's just so your wheel's straight. And then you'll have one 24 mil nut right here. That's the actual only thing that holds the wheel itself onto the car. So once that's off, you undo that. Like I said, those are just your guides to keep it straight, and those two are to click the horn and airbag in place. And one last thing I forgot to mention, because his car, like this one, is the 10R80, and your GT350 and 350Rs only come in manual, you can see on the back this plastic big plate here, you have nowhere for your paddle shifters. So what you got to do is when you take your stock wheel off, this is the only piece that has to be swapped over, because it'll have a little cutout here, or here, wherever, I don't really remember, but that's where your paddles go. So clearly if you got the 10R80, you need your paddle shifters, otherwise it's just not the same. So that'll clip off, the stock one will go on, and then you should be good to go. But I'll show you more of that once he gets here and we get the wheel off. Then I can show you all that part. It's really simple, just the last step you'll have to do to get your new wheel on. We'll let Larry do the airbag in case it blows up in his face. Then we'll go viral and my face will still be okay.
There's a hole here. I'm gonna catch the hole here. There's a hole here that holds the spring, and same on the other side. Now what I'm gonna do is poke this in there, find that spring, and then kind of release it.
Okay, airbag's off. You can see those are the two clips like the other wheel. It's a bit of a pain, you gotta pull pretty hard. But basically what you're left with is this. So that little clip controls all the buttons. You just squeeze and pull. And then the ones you gotta be careful with are the two yellow ones with your which is your airbag. The orange tab will just pop up. Get your nail under there, like so. And then they just wiggle off, but I'll need both hands. So basically pop those up, pull them off, and you're good to go. Okay, once you're at this point, this is all the wires controlling the buttons. This is your airbag, that's what we already unplugged. So that little tab in there, it's a bit of a bitch to get your fingers in, but if you just get a flathead, push that tab down, pull out gently, that all comes off. That'll plug in once you get the wheel on. Now that everything's unplugged, that's the only thing holding the whole wheel on. Those are the little tabs that line up in the holes after, just so you know your steering wheel's sitting the same way. 24 mil, put it on there. I already loosened it, but it's not very tight at all. Just take that off and the whole wheel will pop right out. Alright, so here's the two wheels. I actually lied earlier. I thought the buttons were all the same, but if you look, your volume is on this side, you're okay, and your up and down arrows are on that side. On this one, volume's on the other side, your up and down arrows are there, And then this is a little bit different. You can see you got your phone and stuff on here. This is set up for the GT350R, so not 100% sure what they would be, but you can see this is your pony, your nav, and your settings and stuff. On the 350R, you got your phone on the one side, and this side is your steering modes and your suspension modes. So we will actually be taking all this off and putting it on there, which basically you just loosen. It's a 20 Torx bit. You can loosen all those off, move them over. The other thing we don't know is this. I'm not sure what it's for. It's either heated steering wheel, or with the safety mode your wheel vibrates a bit. It could be from that as well. But if you look on the 350R wheel, it's not there. So once I get all this apart, we can kind of see where it's at and figure out if we're going to swap it over or not. Okay, so this is the backing plate. You can see it's got the cutouts for your paddle shifters. That's why we got to change this. Basically, it's held on by the two little bolts on the bottom there, and then one on the left hand side, one on the right hand side. So before you start reassembling everything, make sure you get those off. You can see he just popped off the one from the GT350 wheel, and this has your whole harness and everything for all the controls on it. So basically that's how your new buttons, seeing how they're different, like we swapped them all out, they will all work properly in your car because the harness controlling everything is actually on here. Only thing you won't plug in is this, and that is for the heated steering wheel on the bottom, so that'll just get tucked away at the end. So once you got the bolts out, just get your fingernails or a little pry bar, plastic pry bar under there, give her a yank, and it will pop up. I can't do it with one hand because it wiggles all over the place, but get your little plastic, if you got a pry tool like for trim and stuff, get it in there, pop it up, it comes right off. A couple little clips in there, pull it off, and that's all it takes. And then obviously this is all that holds that on once it's off. So you undo that and this literally just falls off. Alright, what we ended up doing is switching just the black buttons, because if you look, this is the 350R and that is your stock GT wheel. You can see there's quite a difference in color. This is more like a, I don't know what you'd call it, bright silver, where this is almost like a gold to it. So basically pull those off. Underneath you got your 1, 2, 3 black little torque bolts. That's all that holds that on. Don't undo the other 3 because you'll open up the buttons and then you'll screw stuff up. So basically just take those off. It pops off this old one, bolts right back onto the new one. And then same with the bottom here. You can see these were in there before, switched over to the new one, and this is the one I was saying is covered. If you look on this side, you have to take the top off. There's that one bolt under there, but basically everything just unplugs, plugs back in, so it'll all look good at the end. And the wire that's in the middle here, you can see, comes down to the foam block here. It's your heated wheel. That's what that is. When you switch over to the new wheel, you don't get a heated steering wheel anymore. Just one of the options you lose. Something good to know before you order one for your own car. But we'll carry on, get that side done, all switched over, and get her back in the car. One last thing, the bolts that you take out of the wheel, you can see some are just your regular bolt. Some have this bigger washer type head on them. That's for, if you look in here, if you happen to mix up all your bolts like we're doing, if you look, this one is just a hole big enough for a bolt, whereas the ones like this, they actually come right over. Same with this one. They come over the thing, so it's a bigger hole there. You can see better on here. You can see one side is a hole, one side's got the big open gap. The gap is just so when you line it in there, it's locked into place. And then obviously to tighten it down, you need the one with the washer on there. So just heads up, if you mix your bolts up, it's not the end of the world. And then basically the one in here and the one that will be in here are shiny. so you know where those go, and the rest are just all these black ones. She's all good to go. Got the buttons swapped over. Everything's tight. Your harness there, ready to be plugged in. That little wire we just zigzagged around, tucked in the bottom, that would be for your heated. I'm sure there's a way you can switch it over if you wanted to, but he didn't really care about it, so this is how it stays. So basically back into the car we go, and bolt her on. Right, back in the car, all you do, line up those two little tabs in there again. You can see the yellow dots in there. That's the way you know you got it lined up. Grab your 24 mil bolt, thread it back in the middle, and crank her down tight. Doesn't have to be Hulk tight, just make sure it's tight and you're good to go. The harness is back plugged in. The bottom one is gone because that was the heated wheel before. That's your airbag stuff. Clicks back onto here. You can see black and yellow on there. One is black, one is yellow. Line them up the right way, you're good to go. Your other little one plugs in here, that's for your horn. So basically get those all clipped on, and we'll just clip that back into place. All right, we'll let Larry do this because I plugged the battery back in while he wasn't looking.
What?
So goes the other way. Orange on the bottom.
This is orange to orange.
No, like the orange tab. Flip it. Yeah,
So,
like that.
I feel so nervous playing this thing. Like every time I twist it, it's gonna.
The black one is what makes it blow up, so just be careful.
Get in there, motherfucker. Okay. And the horn.
She plugs back in there, and then you gently caress the wires and push it back in, and your little tab there will click on those little spring clips inside. Good as new. There you go, guys, another mod down. He's happy with it, looks really good in the car. The red stripe goes really well because he's got the red interior on his car, so everything fits. Like I said, he's a big fan of the Alcantara, so matches everything. If you notice, he has the side pillars in his car, like the two just going up the side with the tweeters on there. He's got that wrapped as well. He popped it off and got a company to just, it's like a vinyl wrap for your car, but they do it in Alcantara, so it looks pretty cool. Matches the rest of the car now. And yeah, like I said, easy install. It was a bit of a pain when we first started to get the airbag off of the steering wheel. You really got to pull. The one side seems to pop off easy, and then I don't know because if it turns that little bit or what goes on, but you really got to yank on it on the one side to get it off. But other than that, it was a pretty easy install. You can, if you don't want the darker steel like you've seen, the trim, I mean, you can always just leave it, take the buttons off, swap them right over to the new one, just one less step. Other thing, like I said, you lose your heated steering wheel. Not a big deal. Most places it doesn't get that cold anyway. Up here, of course, in Canada we get cold. But even in mine, once the heat's running in the car, you don't really need the heated wheel. It's just one of those luxuries we get used to that we really don't need if you find something that you like more. So what we did is we just tucked that wire around like I showed you, just get it out of place. And then when we plugged it all back in, nothing blew up in our face, luckily, no lights or anything. So that button is not, or the plug in the bottom there that you seen when we took it off, is not hooked up to any kind of sensor or anything. So it's not going to give you warnings on the dash or anything like that. So it's all good to go. So hopefully you liked the video. Like always, thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. like I said, we got a couple things coming for this car, just waiting for the mail. With the whole pandemic going on, it's a real pain in the butt to get stuff delivered up here. So I got an email saying that it's going to be in Calgary, which is pretty close to where I am, shipping wise anyway, on Friday. So hopefully by, let's say, Monday, Tuesday, I should have it at my place. So stay tuned for that, and we'll catch you guys in the next one.
Damn Larry can't get the thing off. So now
I just wanted to get on my face. Here we go. Houston, we have lift on. 3, 2.
push and pull and wiggle.
Can we do this in slow motion?
Oh, fuck. Okay, never mind.
Yeah, Bill made it look so easy. It's loose.
It is. The one side's off.
This side is
There's a spring in there, and then you just wiggle around to feel that spring. It's a really tiny spring, that's why it's hard to catch on.
This side's off. Falls off, but all right, one side off, push the other side in, find the little clip, give her a push. If you hear the click, you went too far.
You're stuck on that side now?
Fuck filming.